So what?
Hey everyone, welcome again to the Tailgate Zone show. This is Michelle, your host, and our other hosts, Mark, Rob, Terry. Tim's out right now. He's driving on the road, so we're going to do a little music, and then we'll be back with some sports talk. Come on in and join us. It's your show too.
Black Rob.
Black.
All right. So that's Black Rob, like, whoa, instrumental. And that was, whose idea was that, Terry?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Bad boys, 10 years from now, we'll still be on top.
You and Rob know that music.
Don't know nothing else, we know that.
All right. Again, welcome to the Tailgate Zone. We're about to get into some sports talk now. The guys all have topics, so I'm going to start with my topics. My first topic is Sports Center tweeted out, Johnny Manziel has a win this year. Andrew Luck, Drew Brees, Russell Wilson, Joe Flacco, and Eli Manning does not. Okay, so my question to you guys is, what's up with that as far as Johnny Manziel? Because the second part is that the Browns quarterback Josh McCown is cleared to return, and he's going to play in the Browns versus the Raiders game. So with Sports Center, does it seem like they're kind of cheering for Johnny Manziel, like wanting him to start? I'll start with you, Terry. What do you think?
I think that's always been the case. I mean, they've been a Johnny Manziel fan for the longest. So, I mean, just like they did with Tim Tebow, the same exact thing. They ran pretty much the quarterbacks out of Denver. You know, when Tim, there's only one game that he has more than everybody else, and the season's still early. Shelly?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I said the season's still early. It's only two, it's only two games, but I mean, this is going to be Johnny Manziel's team because you got to look at it. McCown, he's a pretty good quarterback. He used to play for the Bears, but I don't think that this team is for him, and it's for Johnny Manziel.
Okay, what do you think, Rob? Well, Mark, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I'll ask you first. What do you think about that play that McCown made that injured him in the first place?
He tried to leap himself into the end zone and get a touchdown. It cost him the ball and his brain for a minute. But I'm still tripping off. Maybe Terry got a concussion talking about he was a pretty good quarterback because he played for the Bears. He was never pretty good.
Wait a minute.
I said he was decent.
Wait a minute. He gave us a chance to make the playoffs. Cutler has not. So he did do pretty good with the Bears.
I guess he did not to blow it. Didn't have enough in that sense, but you had a defense that was a much stronger team much stronger defense that he had. That Jay Cutler inherited the back end of that defense. But I get what you're saying. But I would say that overall, it's not that sports. I don't believe it's necessarily Sports Center loves Johnny Manziel or Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow can't quarterback. I don't give a damn. Johnny Manziel, I like to stick more. I think he can. I think he has a shot. He's small. Problem is that they sell. People want to know about them, and people want to see it. With all the stuff that's going on, and now Manziel getting that second chance, they want to see how he turned it around. He came back in. He filled in from McCown. Played did okay. They still lost. He started the next game. They won. So the rub is that whether they're praising Johnny Manziel or not, the fact is that Johnny Manziel, through all that crap, has a win, and Andrew Luck, who people were putting as the next one, who I love and felt was the best quarterback coming in, at the draft, and was rightfully so the number one pick, knew he was going to be better than RG3, and Russell Wilson, who's got a Super Bowl, who really, that's a team win, and even Drew Brees, that was a Hurricane Katrina win. They all but I think that's just a fact where you could say it's getting attention. It's got our attention. Did they tease? Yeah. He got a win, and they don't have one so far. But also, it's a team thing.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And like whichever one of you guys said, ESPN, Manziel is just like Tebow and LeBron and a lot of other players that they just get on their backs and just ride them into the sunset. So we already know that Manziel is one of those type players that ESPN loves. Robert, what do you think as far as Manziel? Do you think that he should start over McCown?
I'd have to go with the personnel that are sitting in the Browns office. They see him and McGowan on a day-to-day basis. And I relate this to another quarterback controversy, the Washington Redskins, Kirk Cousins / RG3.
Yeah.
Everybody was, over here, especially, Terry can, vouch for this, when, RG3 started having problems and they put Kirk Cousins in last year for a couple of games and they thought he was the man and they got super excited and super psyched about him coming in to start this year. There is a reason why these quarterbacks are backups. These NFL coaches and talent scouts look at these guys on a day-to-day basis. They see what they can do. They see how they can operate inside of their systems, and they put, their quarterbacks in line accordingly. I'd also like to go right along with what Mark was saying earlier too about, the sensationalization of certain players. Certain players just come off sexy. You gotta look at it like this. ESPN is a business like any other business. So whatever can get peak interest, we live in a really quick and short attention span society. So, Johnny Football is way more sexier than McGowan.
Mm-hmm.
So, and also just to sell the controversy point, because we love drama. We love these reality TV shows where grown men and women fall apart that really shouldn't. So you have that little, soap opera plot. It's easier for them to sell those ratings off of that type of story. The Browns have said from the beginning that McGowan was their guy. He's been in the league longer. He's got more maturity. He came in, ready to work from the beginning. My man Johnny Football had opportunity last year, but he was, living that high life out there partying, slinging his things out. From all reports, he's changed a lot. He's coming to be becoming more mature and studying, but he still needs to be developed. And you gotta let
over now
have time to develop and grow, because that's a position you can't be immature at. You got too much in your hands. You touching that ball every play, and you have to improve and help out all your other players. So,
yeah, that's true.
And that's why I say, and also here's the other thing that's driving ESPN, the fan base. Because if you listen to Cleveland radio, Cleveland fan base, they saw that one game, and just like Redskins fan base, when Kirk did that good, one game or two, all of a sudden off with McGowan's head, let's put Johnny Football in there. It's just one game, people.
That's true.
One game.
That's true.
McGowan may have a
Let's
better stretch.
let's change the subject a little bit. We're going to talk about NFC East wars, but I read some.
Michelle, can I say one thing on that?
Sure. Go ahead, Mark.
What I was going to say is that just to be a little more on that correct in that sense, that with RG3 got injured.
Right.
That's where Kirk Cousins came in. Now the rest of it was RG3's attitude. He alienated his team, and so he hasn't developed. So nobody's going to have the patience for him to develop. Johnny Manziel, they've invested in him, so they had to. The owner wanted to get rid of Johnny Manziel. They don't have any other better alternatives, and I think he probably pitched the story where he was definitely going to do what he had to do, and he followed their steps full on, and he's been walking the fine line. And there's a project. Johnny Manziel's still a project. Josh McCown knows. He's been a very helpful person and mentor to Johnny Manziel. He knows he's not the future. He's there at the moment. And they don't have a team around Johnny Manziel. The worst thing you do is put Johnny Manziel right now. The team ain't no good, and he still looks bad. It's only going to be worse. So that's all I'm saying. That's the only difference I've got to be, just to be sure on that tip. And like I said, ESPN is going by. We, as a people, want to see all this crap, so they put that shit on because we watch it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, so switch wheels a little bit. We're going to talk about attitude on field and off. Andrew Luck, it says that Andrew Luck, when he gets sacked, he compliments the players. He may give them a little tap on the rear and say, good job or something like that, right? So they call him Mr. Nice Guy. So I want to tell you about this NFC Defensive Player of the Week, Sean Lee. Okay, so Sean Lee was quoted to say, I just want to send a shout out to the Eagles offensive line for making this possible, because he was NFC's Defensive Player of the Week. So what I want to ask you guys is, I had already talked to Terry and Rob about this, Mark. I want to ask you first, do you feel that's poor sportsmanship? Do you feel it's true? What do you think about his comment?
You said Sean Lee wanted to thank the Eagles offensive line or defensive line?
The Eagles offensive line for making this possible.
Oh, okay. And I just want to be clear too. What team does Sean Lee play for?
Dallas Cowgirls.
You damn right he played for the Dallas Cowboys.
That's neither here nor there. I'm asking if it's sportsmanship or not.
I think you just got your answer right there.
That's right. Okay.
Be a little partial.
You default out of the questions for right now.
I said this to you. The NFC East, although totally wise, the NFC East is down. But if you don't know, the NFC East is a battle zone. We don't like each other. We don't pull for each other.
Right.
We want each to lose, even when they're playing somebody else. The Giants and Eagles and Skins are playing each other. I hope they both lose. I don't want none of them to win. Doesn't matter. I want them both to lose. So there's a lot of trash talking, a lot of personal stuff that go there. And Sean Lee said that he's going to get, I didn't know he said that. That's funny. But having a little fun, I think it's probably tongue-in-cheek. But you could say it's poor sportsmanship, but it's fun. You know, it's just having fun. You know, there was probably a lot of trash talking being done. And that was the thing you saw last year.
Yeah, on the field.
That DB that was talking trash to Dez Bryant, and Dez Bryant torched his ass.
What do you think, Terry? Browns, what do you think, Bears fan? What do you think? Is that poor?
I absolutely love it. Because, I mean, hey, he had a heck of a game, and it's due to the offensive line. So I tell the offensive line, don't get mad, get better. Yeah. Hey, if this guy won an award like that on your behalf, you should take it personal for you the next upcoming weeks not to let this happen again.
Right.
I love it.
Right. Okay. What do you think, Rob? You love it too?
Michelle, I'm sorry. You'll say to remember too is that the one particular offensive lineman or a couple on the Eagles offensive line talked trash last year.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of like payback, sort of payback. So,
exactly.
Rob, what do you think? You agree with?
I'd have to agree with the other two gentlemen. You know, it's a competitive sport you're playing. It's a gladiator sport you're playing. So you can't be, kudos to Mr. Luck for patting people on the rear and telling them good job putting me in the dirt. But when you're playing, especially a defensive player, and I can speak from personal experience that I primarily played when I played football. I'm out there to get at you. I'm out there to make you feel uncomfortable. I'm out there to show out and embarrass you on that field. So, and it's like Mark said, the NFC East is one of the most rivalry-driven divisions. There's no game to watch when they're playing an NFC East team against another one where they're gonna come out there and sing "Kumbaya." So this is not, this is like I said, bravado. This is what the kids call swag. I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna say what I gotta say, and like Terry said, if I'm on the other side of that, it needs to be motivation for me to step my game up so that they can't say that about me the next time. You best believe if I'm an Eagles offensive lineman, I'm coming to work that following Monday ready to take that next person's head off and make sure that Mr. Lee, next time I see him, he'll be talking that trash from his backside.
That's right. That's right. Okay, so I just have a couple more because you guys all have topics. Okay, really quickly, Rob, I know you're going to talk about injuries. So is DeMarcus Murray one of them?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll leave that for you. I just wanted to mention this coach's name. I didn't know his name at first. John Jay. He's the high school coach from Texas, so it has been found that he did order those players to hit the referee. So, we haven't talked about this yet on the show. I'll start with you, Terry. What do you think? Should the kids be responsible also? They're high school kids, even though that their coach told them to do it. What do you think?
I think that the coach is gonna get obviously the most penalized out of everyone. But they're high school kids, so if you're telling them to do something and they look up to you as a coach, of course they're gonna go ahead and do it. Because if I tell you to go out there and knock the snot out of somebody because you need to, then you're gonna go out there and do the same thing because the coach tells me to do it. So if the coach tells me to hit this ref, then a lot of kids look up to the coaches and they'll do that. I think they're all wrong. But I think at the end of the day, like we have this thing in the military, if someone really gets in trouble and you're the senior man, then pretty much you take the most blunt of the punishment because you knew better.
Right.
I think it's the same concept.
Okay. What do you think, Rob?
Once again, to piggyback off of Terry, leadership at the top, especially for younger players at a junior level. Now, when you get to be professional or later in your college years, you kind of have a little bit more of obligation to know, just like what Terry said in the military, you have a right as a troop to not follow an unmoral, order. But when you're younger, you kind of lean and look up to that higher leadership to give you your guide and your point. And especially if you're high school, I'm trying to be on this field. I'm trying to be a starter. I'm going to do what my coach is telling me.
Right.
I'm a little bit more influential or, easily influenced. So the punishment needs to start at the top. And also that will set the example for the players and to show them, hey, coach is running things, but if coach is telling you something that you feel is a little bit off, maybe I shouldn't do it. Take a little bit of pause and use some discernment and not do that play. But you can't fault. If you got to put the one party more than the other, I agree. It needs to be on the adult that was in charge, and he should have had some discipline about himself and made sure that nothing like that was going to happen. Definitely not influence or tell a kid to do that. That's kind of like the Karate Kid thing when the Cobra Kai was fighting. He told him to break the leg. The kid's going to do it because he's being told by his sensei. He's not thinking this is probably a bad thing.
Right. Okay, what do you think, Mark?
Man, no doubt the adult has to take the responsibility of it for the most part because he's an adult. That's why they're kids, they're minors, they're underage, so we know that. That's the obvious given. Now, Michelle, I know you got kids, and they're one of the grown. I don't know, Terry, Robert, y'all got kids?
Yeah.
16.
16. Perfect. I got a 17-year-old.
I got an 18-year-old and a 15-year-old.
18 and a 15. And I don't know your kid. I don't know your kid, but I'm gonna lump him up in the same category as my kid. And I love my son. He's a good kid. He's a very good kid. He plays sports. He didn't play football this year. He plays basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Them motherfuckers actually do what you tell them to do all the time.
No, you're right.
Okay.
You're
So
right.
now all of a sudden it's the coach told me, and I want to respect the coach. Get the fuck out of here. You
Right.
saw an opportunity to take a shot at a ref, knowing it was wrong. And they did it. Now, that's the stupid part on their end, because the fact is this. If my son looks at me and a coach asks him to do something that outside the round, that egregious, I'll just use that term, that egregious, and you know, more than likely he knows me. Now, I can say here enough to say, if my kid knows me well to know that I'm not going to sit there and take that from him doing that. And if he told me, the coach told him, I'm going to be a little bit more mad. I'm going to lighten to the coach for even suggesting that my child do something like that,
Right.
because he shouldn't be coaching. But there's no damn way. They wanted to do that. They used an excuse. There's ways around that. That referee, it's high school. I ref high school basketball. I've coached in high school in basketball. Been around with the football there. These refs get hired. They're part of a unit. If this ref has a reputation or has a problem with something, all they have to do is tell the referee board that they really do not want this ref for these reasons. They would have investigated him and he would have been put on hold.
Yeah.
They need refs, but that ref would have not. Come on, man. It's serious football in Texas. Serious football in Texas. They feel like there's something bad like that going on. They're going to get that clear, and that referee will be the sacrificial lamb. But to do that in this day and age, and you know that not only they're just filming the game because teams film the game, but everybody's got their camera out. So come on now, that's dumb on the. Come on, guys, if your kid, you got an 18 to 50-year-old, a 60-year-old, and I got a 17-year-old, so we just covered all the teenagers. 15, 16, mine's 17 to 18-year-old. We know damn well our kids do that shit. We up in they ass for that dumb shit.
That's
No doubt. No
That's,
doubt.
that's true. Terry?
Oh yeah, I agree with him 100%. You know, I kicked it off with how I felt, but yeah, like I said, I mean,
I asked Rob too already, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I
cool.
agree
I just
with
want to make
you,
sure
Mark.
I answer everybody. So that's cool, Terry. So you already answered it. So my last one, guys. Kevin Durant has been cleared to play this season. I'm sure Oklahoma is happy about that. I know it's not.
So am I.
I know it's not the season yet, but if you guys just want to, whatever you want to talk about, let's talk a little basketball. We'll start with you, Terry. Little basketball.
well, I'm repping the Atlanta Hawks all day, every day. So you know I'm rolling with my Hawks game because I flow it. But
Man.
you know what? A lot of people, the Atlanta Hawks caught a lot of people off by surprise last year. But I think that we've gotten better because we've gotten bigger. And so, but I'm really glad to see Kevin Durant back. He's a hell of a player, and I can't take anything away from him. I think he's going to try to prove that he's going to try to prove that he really belongs in this league, because I think by him sitting out last year, he got kind of overshadowed by Steph Curry. So not too many people are screaming, Kevin Durant, but they're screaming Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, James Harden. Then it was LeBron James. So you know what I mean? So many people have surpassed him. So but I'm just glad. Hey, I'm ready for basketball to start too. I love sports, so I'm just waiting for it all to show up. But hey, mark my word, watch out again for my Atlanta Hawks.
Okay.
Say.
Okay, Mark. Wizard Man, what do you got to say here?
You lucky John Wall got hurt. I'm gonna say that right now. You lucky John Wall.
Oh man.
That's
You
true.
played to win the game. You played to win the game.
You know what's up. You know what's up when somebody starts with excuses.
Right.
Yeah.
What's going on? Go ahead, Mark. What do you got to say?
No excuses. We still had an opportunity to beat y'all. It really wasn't John Wall being out. It's Nene's ass who was so lazy going up for that rebound and let Al Horford take that rebound over his head and then put that back up.
Oh yeah,
and that killed a lot of momentum.
I was at that game too, by the way.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, you were.
Oh, Mark's picture went out.
Yeah,
Okay,
his
Robert.
pitch,
Oh,
hey, his
he's
pitcher
gone.
went out just like the Washington Wizards went out off the court when the Hawks blew
Not
them out.
Come on, man. Y'all barely got past them. Y'all,
Hey, did they win? What column does it go into?
hey, it go on a W, but it was
All
a.
right, that's all we need to discuss.
Oh, not only did Mark's picture leave like the Wizards, he left like the Wizards.
That's what I'm
It
talking
happened
about.
with his
Typical Wizard fan.
I think there's like a back door if you talk too much crazy trash and the button just pushes you out.
Yeah.
Um,
Typical Wizard fan.
Because I like how he talked about my man KD like he fifth and sixth banana. Or was that you, Terry, talking about KD like?
Yeah. I mean, I like Kevin Durant too, but I mean, come on.
I tell you who is checking from the same team that you talk about you put out. Now you imagine you put KD on that team. How good? Let's
I'm not imagining putting anybody on the team because he's not on the team.
The contract coming up.
You're going wishing players to be on your team. I'm talking about today.
Okay.
If you were to ask anybody in the NBA right now who are the most talked about, the three top talked about people in the NBA, it would be Steph Curry, James Harden, and LeBron James. And Durant's not in the top three. So that's what I'm saying. If he was healthier last year and he was doing something, I think they would have put him up there. But hey,
but that goes to what I was talking about earlier, that microscopic attention span. They act like that man ain't worth nothing. And that's
I didn't say that. I like him. I'm glad he's coming back.
No, you're right. No, but what I'm saying is, like you're saying, that because he didn't play that last year, he's not in that conversation for top three. He still deserves to be in that conversation top three, especially in front of Harden.
Okay, where does Westbrook come in, guys? Where does Westbrook come in?
Westbrook is a 6 or a 7.
He's in the top 10.
Yeah, I wouldn't put him in the top 3 or top 5, but he's up there. He's not a garbage player, bro.
Hey, they go to Wizards fan. I know y'all Wizards, but you did a magic trick just now.
Abracadabra, Wizards fan back. So, were you finished talking about your John Wall debacle?
Yeah.
Are we still on?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're still on there. So let's see. You talked about yours. What about you, Rob? You didn't talk about your team that you want to talk about.
Well, I'm faithful, unlike some folk that want to run down to the Dirty Bird state. I still like the Bulls, even though we got the glass man Rose up there busting his knees every time he walked down the court. And then we lost a really good coach, even though, I think he's part of the reason why Rose was always jacked up because he's pushing a little too hard. But I definitely got them over top of the garbage behind Atlanta Hawks. When you talk about the East, you got to go through Chi-Town. You got to go see Michael Jordan's statue of knowledge before you come out that East.
Come on now.
Definitely before Atlanta. But
who had a better record last year? Who was the better record?
Who went further in the playoffs?
Atlanta did.
Talk about wins.
Atlanta did. Atlanta went further in the playoffs.
That's true. Cleveland beat Atlanta in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Right.
Thank you. So you can't. Come on. See, I can see right now you don't watch basketball.
Garbage though. Not garbage though.
I can see that.
Hey.
Did you all get what I said? I got in trouble. Did y'all get what I said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What you say, Mark?
It's acting funny again. I was wondering because it froze up and I got off and came back on. Did you all catch my take or no?
Oh yeah. I don't know. For some reason it's freezing. Like I was freezing too, but like when you said Shell, are you there? I don't know. Was I frozen to you guys? Because I was frozen.
Yeah.
No, you was good.
Well, no, all of y'all were frozen to me.
Oh, okay. All right, so we're gonna move on to you guys' topics. Terry, you want to talk about a little bit about fantasy football versus FanDuel and DraftKings. Not that we are telling anybody to use any of those things. Those are just the top two. So the difference between fantasy football and those two, and then you're going to tell your fantasy picks, and then if you, Rob or Mark have fantasy picks. You guys can talk about that too, and what you think about FanDuel and DraftKings. Okay, Terry, you're up.
Okay, I'm in a fantasy football league. I've been playing fantasy football for a while. So this FanDuel and DraftKings is a new up and coming option that you have. And one thing, the biggest difference is for FanDuel and for and the regular and the ESPN or CBS live ESPN Fantasy League is FanDuel. You're not obligated to one player. You could pick multiple players during every different weeks. Like if I was to draft, if we had an ESPN Fantasy League and I was to have draft Tony Romo is hurt, so now I got to go scram and try to find me another quarterback. Well, in FanDuel and DraftKings, I don't have to be obligated to him. I can go pick Andrew Luck. I can go pick Tyrod Taylor. Any fantasy quarterback that I wanted. Ben Roethlisberger for Shelly, because I know that'll make her smile right there.
Hey.
But I can go pick any of those players, and I'm not necessarily stuck. So that was the big difference between FanDuel, DraftKings, because FanDuel and DraftKings are similar. Then if you're playing in a fantasy league, so that's the biggest difference.
Okay, so what are you?
Jay Cutler.
What happened, Mark?
He's hurt.
He's hurt. And I'm glad he I wish we had McCown right now.
So what are your picks, Terry?
Well, for my FanDuel lineup and for you all who playing FanDuel, please don't take my players. But I'm going with Tom Brady this week because he's playing against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Even though the Jacksonville Jaguars defense looked a little good last week, I'm still rolling with Tom Brady. I'm going to go with Alfred Morris from the Redskins. I'm going to go with D'Angelo Williams. Even though I know he's not going to be the starter this week, I'm still going to go with him because they like to give it to him in the goal line so they get you more points. I got Antonio Brown, Odell Beckham, Marvin Jones this week against Baltimore, Jared Cook, the tight end for the St. Louis, Josh Brown, and I got the Patriots defense. So I'm in 3 different FanDuel leagues, but that's just one of my teams. I'm not going to give away my other ones. So people
don't give all the way. Mark, are you in any fantasy ball?
Well, yeah. And speaking of injured players, I got both Romo and Dez Bryant.
Wow. Now that sucks.
You hurt.
Well, you know, it's all relative to what you think sucks there, Terry. I'm okay.
Because now if you're in a league,
traditional fantasy league,
find a new quarterback and a wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I did some dropping and changing here. I made some moves. Now, my backup quarterback to Tony Romo is Phillip Rivers, so I got him started.
Okay.
And there's actually some quarterbacks. I'm looking at my team and everything as we speak here, so I can say right now I have that's still in the waiver wire that hasn't got drafted in my league. I could still get Tyrod Taylor, Andy Dalton, Colin Kaepernick, and Jameis Winston, and Ryan Fitzpatrick and Nick Foles and Derek Carr and Alex Smith.
Oh, so you good to go?
Yeah, that's not bad. Wait, is that FanDuel or something, or is that just a regular?
No, that's fantasy league.
I'm on the ESPN Fantasy. I'm doing a league the way the traditional original way the league was, as opposed to FanDuel and DraftKings.
Right.
Well, you have all those backups, right?
No, well, they're not my backup. They're not my backups. But I'm saying that they weren't drafted, so they're free agents. I could pick one of the quarterbacks, right? But I'm not going to let Tony Romo go, because the minute I let Tony Romo go, somebody else is going to pick him up. And then he comes back.
6 weeks before he can play, though.
Now, that's cool, and I think the thing is, too, I'm good with Phillip Rivers. I think Phillip Rivers is going to have a good year. I actually picked San Diego as my sleeper to win the AFC West. I could be wrong, but I think they may do it. But it may end up being Kansas City again. But also backing up now, I took a little hit with the receiver corps. I'm not confidently I'm not as strongly confident about that. But receiver wise, I got DeAndre Hopkins from Houston and quarterbacks. I do have Malcolm Floyd, but I actually picked up Stevie Johnson. Stevie Johnson's looking pretty good, and I'm actually moving to start him now. He just crossed the waiver wire. It all came through on Wednesday. And I got Andre Johnson, who Andre Johnson hasn't really gotten a chance to get off yet.
Well, Andrew Luck hasn't
as much. So that's true too. So I'm not giving up on him.
So are you 2-0?
And I'm 1-1. I won the first game and I got beat by 20 the last game. That's because I had Romo starting. He didn't finish much, and everybody else really didn't do much. Actually, you know who hasn't gotten off like I thought would, as I had LaShawn McCoy.
Right.
Yeah.
And
right.
and I was starting Andre Johnson, and also Jason Witten didn't have a big game.
And he's hurt.
So
yeah,
he's hurt too. So I got Owen Daniels as my backup tight end. So my starting lineup this week is this: Phillip Rivers at quarterback, Joseph Randle, Danny Woodhead are my running backs, DeAndre Hopkins, Stevie Johnson, Jeremy Maclin is my flex. Owen Daniels is my tight end. I got the Cowboys defense, and I got Matt Prater as my kicker.
Okay. What about you, Rob? Are you into this?
Yeah, I got a like Mark said, I got a traditional fantasy league that I'm a part of, so it's a little bit more locked in than the Fandango or FanDuel. Sorry, Fandango. I'm getting confused with movies.
You are.
But so yeah, my lineup it looked like it was going to be pretty solid, but they're not taking off like I thought they would. In particular, I had Andrew Luck as my number one quarterback, and these last two games, I don't know what's going on with their offense. They're not able to click and get everything going, and I feel like it's a temporary thing. I'm kicking myself in the butt because I did have Tom Brady at the beginning of the season because no one in my league wanted to touch him. This is before we found out that he was going to get lifted off that suspension. And which I grabbed him. He sat around to the fourth round, and I ended up picking him up. But I let him go to my brother. Big mistake. I ended up playing him the first week, and he had that outstanding performance that first week. So
you wanted to lose, man. You don't give up no Tom Brady.
Yeah. I am not. You must be used to losing then.
Yeah, no. Get out of here. I felt sorry for my little brother. I don't know what. But I should have kept
every man for himself
right. Because that little Bama, as soon as he got off, he wanted to talk all kinds of craziness to me. I was like, dude, you should give me that win. I get half of that because I gave you Tom Brady. You had Cam Newton, I'd have beat you by 30 points. But yeah, like the traditional leagues, I like those in a sense because for one, like you said, usually you join with a group of people that you get the their fellow camaraderie and talk trash to each other. FanDuel and DraftKings, that's a good hustle. And it's funny to me that, that's legal. You can't bet on sports any other way, but you can gamble.
No, that's not true.
Gambling.
You can bet on sports other ways.
Well, you got to go to Vegas or AC.
No.
Yeah, but I mean, the truth is that right. The thing is, too, though, is that's not gambling necessarily on the game. You're betting on an individual performance. So there's really nothing wrong with that.
It's potatoes. It's a different way. And that's the thing about it. Use that technical thing. At the end of the day, you're making money off of somebody else's performance. You're not getting paid for you doing anything.
Hey, so in the NFL, in the league that you're in now, is it a paid league?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, all right, cool. So, Terry, your other thing you want to talk about were the top college running backs.
Right.
Michelle, before we go on that, I wanted to talk about this, too, since we're talking about FanDuel. Now, this just came out, too. NCAA put out a rule, and this once again leads to my comment about the gambling, that college athletes cannot participate in DraftKings and FanDuel because they classify it underneath the gambling statute.
That's true.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry.
I mean, that's fair in that sense of keeping them clean or being corrupt, you know.
Go ahead.
No, I'm saying that's fair to do that in the sense of keeping them clean from being involved with that
Right.
type of thing. But also, too, is that if it's a paid out league, you know, the NCAA is still on that bullshit about not letting these kids get paid. That's a whole
Yeah.
different story
Oh,
we can get
trust
on,
me.
but
I
Yeah,
agree
well,
with
maybe
you.
we'll talk about that next week because I thought that it was in the works of starting to do some things for the kids.
Yeah, that's a good topic for next week.
Yeah, we'll do that next week.
but yeah, I
Terry,
wasn't gonna get off in it, but I was just saying that's part of it.
say that again.
I wasn't gonna get off into it, but I was just saying that's part of it. That's all.
Yeah, yeah. No, we'll talk about it next week because that is interesting. Now that you bring it up, I'm wondering, what's going on with it because they were talking about maybe giving the guys something, for their efforts. So they make them millions, billions of dollars every year. So they could do
Oh,
something for those kids.
Yeah,
So
that's a whole different thing.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, Terry. Top college running backs you wanted to talk about.
Oh yeah, I'm a Florida State guy, so but I tell you what, 3 of my top 5 running backs are out of the SEC. Um, and we're gonna start first with Nick Chubb from out of Georgia. That cat is ridiculous, and it's crazy because it's been a while since we had a college football year where the running backs are really the highlights. And I think so. The top one, and these are not in any presidential order, but Nick Chubb, Fournette from out of LSU, Henry from out of Alabama, Dalvin Cook from out of Florida State, and my last one, is, like I said, it's not in any real order, is Ezekiel Elliott from out of Ohio State. Those are my top 5 running backs, but a close second, a close 6, or honorable mention, I should say, is 2. One, the running back out of Arkansas and the running back out of Oklahoma, Samaje Perine. So those are some real good running backs. So if any NFL team next year or the year after are looking for running backs, this is going to be a great crop of running backs in the next 2 years.
Okay. What do you think, Mark?
Well, what were you talking about? I'm just kidding. No, I was looking actually at the rushing leaders. I noticed Nick Chubb is 3rd, Dalvin Cook is 2nd, Jordan Howard is leading the league in rushing. Some of these other running backs I'm not known of, other than Ezekiel Elliott. I know you don't have any order. Ezekiel Elliott only has 331 yards, but he's on a team that can spread it around. He's playing half a game probably. I would say Ezekiel Elliott is the best back to me. He's definitely pro ready. And I haven't followed it. I lost track with Gurley and the other guy, the one that left, the one that came out of Wisconsin. They all left, and along with Ezekiel Elliott. So I'm not as totally up on them as much. But Fournette is good. I did watch a little bit of LSU. Runs hard. He's probably very good, but I like Miles, but I don't trust LSU. They don't hold up, man. They just don't hold up. They get down to the end of the year and they just all that trick and bullshit just goes down the wayside. Goes by the wayside, man. It just somewhere along the time, the coach at LSU needs to be a solid, bruising, punishing, straightforward, and send these guys through the line. That's the only way they're gonna get better.
Yeah.
Or be prepared. So yeah, now I will say this much. I'm just gonna take this chance to do it. Take this opportunity to say so. A good friend of mine, his son is going to be a running back. He's a high school senior this year, and his name is Zion Eccles. He's going to Cal next year.
Okay.
Look out for him. Zion Eccles. He's going to Cal next year. He's a hell of a running back. He's small, but he's a hell of a running back.
Okay. What, Robert?
I'm not the college man. I really have shied away from it as years have progressed, and part of the reason because of the fact that these guys get lost in the shuffle. Unless you went to college or had a college team that you avidly follow, it just doesn't really got the allure for me. I'd rather watch them when they make it to the pros. I've heard of the gentleman that Terry spoke of, and I've heard some good things about him, but I really could not tell you who is really grabbing my attention. I've not really had any college running backs that have, outside of that one gentleman, the other gentleman that Terry was speaking about. Mark was speaking about. Not really too many running backs that grab my attention in the college ranks. It's hard pressed to even find a quarterback worth mentioning.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. So let's move on to you, Mark, with your USC loss to Stanford. Since we're talking about college,
Wow.
Let's talk about that.
Well, I'm no USC fan, and I don't hate USC, but I'm just not a USC fan. I like them a little bit going back in the day. It's funny because me being involved, and as I said, I've coached youth sports and football and basketball, followed it since my son. I'm just proud to use that opportunity to say, and being a Pasadena area guy. I'm from D.C., but I'm a Pasadena, California transplant. There's some talent at USC team. Stephen Mitchell is from Pasadena. I've known him since he was a little kid. Very talented receiver there. Tore his ACL up last year in the spring summer training, so he didn't play last year. Also, the other number 7 on defense, Marvell Tell, who I do know very well. I coached him as a young kid. Knew he was a beast as well. And he's kind of rotating in and out. He's a freshman, true freshman safety there. Big loss for USC losing to Stanford. Stanford looked like some shit against Northwestern. I thought USC was going to beat them by about 30. I really did. And speaking of Stanford, I'm giving a shout out to these kids. I'm very proud of these kids. I've worked with them, coaching them. They're my son's peers and things like that. But another kid named David Long, who actually is at Loyola High School in L.A., actually he committed to Stanford. He'll be going there. Super, super fast, speed guy. But Stanford didn't show that kind of speed and talent to me. And I thought SC is really getting back in the point where now that the sanctions are over, they can get the full amount of scholarship players. And they picked up some talent. I watched Dory Jackson out here in high school. That some bitch is a beast, okay? Him and Sewell Craven, these boys are bona fide. They're going to the pros. I don't know what their defense, though. The defensive side just could not stop Stanford. And Stanford was they didn't have any tricks or any extras. They just couldn't stop them. It was half for half. Third down, they was getting 4 yards to carry. And if SC got a penalty against them or either threw them for a loss one play and say it was second and long, they would get 13 or 14 yards and still get there near the first. They couldn't stop them. That's bad. That's a bad loss. And maybe I was predicting they would be there this year, but it's early still. Sarkisian said it. I listened to the interview. He told his team it's true. Ohio State lost early last year, and so did Oregon lost early last year. But I don't know. That to me was just that's a bad loss.
There's an opportunity for them to bounce back, like you were saying, because both the teams that made it into the championship last year, they did have one, and that's the beauty of this playoff system. And I wish they would expand it further than 4 teams. I think it should be an 8, and especially when you talk about conferences like where Baylor is at, where they don't have a division championship, and you have these other teams that you feel like would make it a little bit deeper and make it a little bit more competitive field for national championship. And the more teams that you have involved, I think 8's perfect because it's just enough where you can kind of lessen that. Oh, I got pushed out. I was on the bubble. We had a real chance, and we could have gotten in there. And these kind of heads and tails kind of coin toss on these other teams that make it in based on their tradition and their history in the past.
Right.
So they still could get in there because USC is it's a traditional school. It's usually been a powerhouse. I say they have been having problems last year, especially with the sanctions and not having the pool of talent that they're generally able to pull from. Like once again, just looking in their backyard, LA is a Betty for talent. There's so many talented young high school players in the LA area.
When you say
and also San Diego. just like protects us.
Hold on, what'd you say, Terry, to him?
When you say USC can get in there, what do you mean? Get in where?
I can see them making maybe a good run, and somebody else falling and stumbling. Because here's the thing: it's a long season. There's going to be a lot more upsets. A lot more of these teams that are up top right now that are on that radar to make it in there that could mess around and fumble to an Appalachian State and get knocked out of there, and USC might be able to slide in.
But you heard it from me first. USC would not make it in the playoffs. I can promise you on that.
That's not a big leap.
My cheek, baby. You know,
I mean,
like the great Yogi Bear said,
they would not make it in the playoffs. I can promise you on that.
Like the great Yogi Bear said, brother, it ain't over till it's over. You don't count nobody out.
We'll see.
You got to play every game on them schedules.
We'll see.
Okay, Terry. So Terry, I don't know if you saw that USC Stanford game, but just talk a little bit about college. The rankings and that type thing. What do you think about the college rankings right now in college sports?
Well, I think they were right by taking Auburn when they should have lost to Jacksonville State. That's who it was.
Yeah.
That first week, Auburn was ranked like number 6, and then they moved them out to number 18. But then it goes to show you that they was not legit because when they played LSU put a hurting on them. So and LSU moved to number 8. So it goes to show you that there's a lot of good teams, and I guarantee you a lot of these big time schools won't put some of these cream puffs high school and college teams on their schedule because Jacksonville State. I don't even know where Jacksonville State is at. So for them to have played like that, they put their names on the map. Just like all these other little small Division 1A or 2A colleges, they come in there and they give them $1 million and they think they can just pounce on them. But a lot of these teams, a lot of these small schools, they have talent. But just because they have a small school, you don't ever hear the talent. So it's not a clear-cut favorite of who's going to win the whole thing because Alabama lost to Ole Miss. I mean, they got whooped. And so it's not a clear-cut favorite anymore, which is what I like now because it's not one dominant team that that's coming in and say, okay, this team is going. So that's what I like. But, hey, Florida State will definitely be in there. Please believe.
You say Florida State will be there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right, so I do want you to talk about the loss.
Florida State. I don't think so.
Wait, go ahead, Mark.
Florida State
what?
Banana peel too.
I don't think so. Florida State don't have the. They're not gonna play the schedule. I tell you this much, and I'm not saying what I'm pulling for USC now. USC is gonna have to win out. They have to win the rest of their games. They're gonna have to beat UCLA. UCLA is ranked 9th, and they would obviously have to win the Pac-12 outright. Now, TCU is going to get probably one more test before they play conference, and they don't get tested again, and we'll see where they go. Ole Miss, they beat Alabama, but I'm willing enough to go on a limb and say Ole Miss will get a bad loss against somebody else that they shouldn't have lost, so they'll lose the fucking Texas A&M or something like that and kill themselves. Michigan State and Ohio State got to play each other, and they're 1 and 2, in the top in the AP. And 1 and 3 in the coaches pool. They got to play each other. So that's kind of.
Okay. All right.
Quick thing.
Go ahead.
Hey, Mark, I know you. This is off the subject. We're getting back to fantasy. I know you said that you have DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
He's not going to play this Sunday, so you might want to move him out of your lineup. I'm just helping you out right quick.
I appreciate that. And I just looked at something where it said he was probable. And I was about to check it, but I was talking. I was about to check it.
The coach said he's not gonna play. He got a concussion.
Oh, yeah. Not gonna play with no concussion, not no more.
Oh, good looking out, Terry. Good looking
I'm trying to help my brother out. A little razzle dazzle.
If he wins that $1 million, I think he should kick you down with at least 10,000.
That's all I'm asking for. I don't want much.
Well, I'm not in the DraftKings. I'm not in one that pays out. I'm in a free one, so I'm not getting any money. I'm just getting a little. I'm having a little fun. I haven't pulled the trigger on the pay ones yet.
Okay.
Okay. Pull the trigger on that. Money. All right. So what I was saying is, I do want you to talk about what the loss means for you the boys fans, Mark, with Tony Romo. But since Rob is going to talk about key moves, injuries, and trades in the NFL, I'm going to let him talk about that first because I'm sure Romo is one of the topics. And then, Mark, you can close out the show by talking about what it means to you Cowboy fans to not have Romo on board. So take it away, Robert.
All right. Well, like you were saying, there's a lot of key injuries. In particular, one of the headline ones are the ones on the Dallas Cowboys. You have two great offensive weapons that are going to be down for a considerable amount of time. Backups are going to come in, and other players are going to have to step their game up. And that seems to be a prevalent problem throughout the NFL. This was like one of the worst years from the onset where we had a lot of big names get taken out of lineup due to injuries. Yes. From the Cowboys, like I said, the two that we just mentioned, to now Mr. DeMarco over there with the hammy, and has been purportedly injury prone even from the camps and OTAs and the preseason. He had hydration issues, hamstring issues even before the season started. Go out to my man Jay Cutler with his hamstring issue, but once again, I'm not too sad about that. And then we look at going back to the East, Philly and all their moves that they made to get the Chip Kelly team, and the results on the field are not very fruitful. You basically sold the whole barn to get the guys that you wanted, to get them in your program, and these guys are not Chip Kelly guys, and I'm gonna bring some new talent and new blood in here, and start running all over the NFC East and basically take the NFC, and it's not happening. It's not happening. You gave away, what's it called, my man to Buffalo, LaShawn McCoy. How much would he have helped out this last week? But then again, how good can you run without an offensive line? And that's another part of the puzzle that he gave away too. Gave away some pretty good offensive linemen to other teams. So, and you're going out west to the NFC West. I don't know about anybody else, but I was super excited to see what the Seahawks were going to do with their new tight end acquisition. You saw what he did down there in New Orleans with Drew Brees. But if you're not using the man and you're having him blocked and you only target him about 10 to 11 times in the first two games, you're not giving him the opportunity to go out there and do something. And then once again, you got to put the right man in the right position to do the right things. It doesn't matter how talented the player is. You're not going to get anything from him. So it just, seems like we had a lot of. Say again?
Russell Wilson can't throw, man.
Right.
He can throw. He's a talented quarterback. You got to give the man that.
No, 130 yards.
Hey, with
Terry, say that again. Well, hold on, Terry.
I like Russell Wilson, but I mean, when your stats is 134, 135 yards for the whole game, and he's a game manager, but I wouldn't put him as one of the elite quarterbacks.
Hell no.
Yeah. I honestly think that the Bears are going to have a field day with him this week.
They very well could. And, especially, the other topic I was going to talk about was my man coming back off of holding out for the contract. Now, he's not going to be up and ready to go this game, but there are a lot of holes in that Legion of Boom that used to be just, 100% sharp and you weren't going to get off on them, i.e. the secondary. So, a friend of mine, he's a 49ers fan, and he likes to talk crap to me all the time. And, you might as well talk this one for a loss.
He didn't talk crap last week, did he?
No, he did. He did. And I
right? I'm pretty sure he was quiet last week. You see that back there?
Oh, yeah. I saw y'all.
Wasn't he quiet?
They owed you money. You beat him like a red-headed stepchild. And I appreciate that because that was some ammunition for me to go talk back to him. You're like, yeah, y'all didn't say, whoa, buddy. We didn't get beat 40-something to 18 like y'all did. So don't talk that jazz to me, player. And but to say that to be said that Seattle's not going to be one of those ones that if it's going to be a given guaranteed win, even though you're playing them at home. There's a lot of uncertainties because of moves, players going different spots. guys not making camp and getting themselves up and running in football shape and conditioning. So anything can happen. You know, they play the games for a reason. No one thought that they'd be 0-2. You figured they win at least one of those games, but they couldn't. So there's a lot of key moves and a lot of key pieces of the puzzle that are hurt and or have changed jerseys, and teams that were perennial champions or were perennial runners for the championship for their respective divisions aren't that anymore. I didn't think Cam Newton was going to do, and their team was going to do as good as they did these last couple games.
Yeah,
but
I didn't bet on them and I lost. So yeah.
No. So you know, there's a lot of things that are going on. A lot of people are getting exposed. A lot of plans that were at the beginning of the year, hands down, they're going to run the table. They're going to take care of this and take care of that, and because of moves and injuries, not a guarantee anymore.
That's true. Terry, some key moves and injuries, trades in the NFL. Anything you want to touch on?
I think Rob pretty much hit all the key moves and injuries. But I think the biggest injuries is probably the Cowboys injuries because, like you said, those are two of your key offensive players and your wide receiver and your quarterback. But I think those two are the biggest, and those are two that stands out the most. But this year seems kind of odd for some reason. I don't know what it is with the NFL. With the Saints being 0-2, with the Colts being 0-2, Chicago being 0-2, Philly being 0-2. So it's like it's some teams that that you thought that was going to be 0-2 or 1-1. They're actually 2-0. So a surprise team, even though they lost to New England, Buffalo's making a lot of noise. So
that's true.
Yeah,
that's true. Okay, so Mark, let's talk about your Cowboys.
Let us.
Well, let me yawn first. Hold on.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Get your hater yawn out there. No.
Okay, Robert, you got a yarn too? You got a yarn?
No. Much love. My wife's a Cowgirls fan. I mean, a Cowboys fan. So, I got mad love for them boys down there.
All right. Well, I want you to talk about it first, what the loss means, but also I'm gonna ask the guys. Do you think you guys are going to make the playoffs? Do you think they're going to come back in time for you guys to make a run this season? Mark, I'll start with you.
Well, honestly, I'm really not too trippy about the losses. I mean, I'm not happy about it. Don't get me wrong. And I don't mean to be overconfident about it. It happens, and I didn't like hearing that. But I've seen it happen before. And then with Dez Bryant, it's kind of fluky and tricky. I definitely like him being out there. He's just very, very exciting. But I think we got a team. I think the thing is, a lot of people, and I'm going to digress just a little bit, but everybody's been getting on Romo about a lot of things. And I had my moments where I was giving up on Romo. My son's a Cowboys fan. He was hating Romo to death. But what really is key is that we haven't had the team. We haven't had the full team. People thought we had the team. We hadn't had the full team. And my thing is that I feel that we have a better team right now. And so Whedon is experienced with the team. He's experienced with the system. I think he can be a stopgap and make some plays. And it really will make a lot of the defenses play us more spread out instead of trying to over the top and double team and Dez Bryant. And I think you'll see. I think Terrence Williams has been getting better every week. Cole Beasley shows to be solid. Mm-hmm. And although Jason Witten has these injuries to ankles and knee, which is pretty odd, 2 sprained ankles and a sprained knee is whew. But I think that you still got him. He's very much of a threat, and he'll be all right. He won't be out an extensive time. We lost another player. I forget another defensive lineman that we lost for the season. And but I like us in a few weeks. We'll get Greg Hardy back, who did have a high ankle sprain. I think he's going to be a beast. He's a steal of the draft for us and in the league. I think Randy Gregory definitely was a steal. Also, we'll get Greg Hardy back, who's going to come back with something to prove. And Sean Lee's playing well. I'm looking at stats. Sean Lee has 16 solo tackles, 23 altogether in 2 games. My question with Sean Lee, he hasn't played more than 6 games in the season, so if we can get to Christmas and he's still healthy, I'm gonna be happy. But I think we'll be okay. I think we'll manage. We got that line to open up holes so we can just grind it out. I'd like to see bigger run production from Julius Randle and or Joseph Randle, excuse me, and then even more out of Darren McFadden. So I like what we have. I'm not really worried. We do play some tough schedule here. I think I'd say I think we'll be all right, and I think we'll be in contention. We'll be set up, where we'll have a good chance of getting to the playoffs, winning the division, and I do believe that we'll do that. And once we can get to the playoffs, timing is everything, and we can strike fire real fast. You know, at that point late in the season, I think we'll have a shot. I think we're poised.
Okay, all right. Terry, what you think?
And this is with my team or just with Dallas?
With Dallas and with the Bears.
Well, Dallas is 2-0. So even though they got key injuries, everyone else has injuries in the division. So that division can go either way. I know it won't be the Redskins, so we can just go with that. But yeah. But I mean, and for the Bears, the season's early. But I don't think the Bears are going to make the playoffs this year, and I'm a realist. You know, even though I'm a Bears fan, I really would love for us to make the playoffs. But unless we can really get it together, because we're going to have to fight against your Green Bay and Minnesota. So I'm really hoping that we can get it together. I'm actually, like I said, I'm going to be going to that game when they play Oakland October 2nd. So I'll be there to do my part to wish my team on, but I'm also a realist. I love the Bears. I'm a diehard Bears way, win, lose, or draw. But I don't think we're gonna make the playoffs this year. And then I'm only giving us 8 to 9 wins this year.
Mm.
Okay. Mm. All right. What about you? Go ahead, Mark. What are you saying?
Hey, can I say this real quick? I would say what's odd about it right now is just 2 games in. As I think Robert mentioned, Terry said a little bit about who's 0-2. It's not even about who's 0-2. Really, it's who's 1-1. The Skins are 1-1. Tampa Bay, who did that good against the Titans, they're 1-1. Minnesota is 1-1. Now, I always say St. Louis is 1-1, and that's kind of surprising because the Skins are 1-1 because they beat the Rams. And then you look at it and say Tennessee's 1-1 because they beat. Jacksonville is 1-1. Right. Jacksonville is 1-1. Cleveland is 1-1. You know, and I mean, Pittsburgh's 1-1, but they had a game that, again, it's not loving the Patriots, but that's going to be a tough win regardless against the Patriots. They could have, you know, they had the talent to beat them, they could beat them, but that's a tough win for anybody against the Patriots. We got to face them this year too. But the fact that they beat San Francisco, and it's fine. They did what they supposed to San Francisco, Michelle. San Francisco.
Yeah, and then we could ring the bell starting next week. So I think we're looking pretty good right now.
And they're doing very well. Like you said, you know the New England game, they didn't get blown out. They were in it a good portion of that game. You get a couple more possession time and a field goal here and a field goal there. You know, y'all could have came out winner on that game.
That kicker killed their momentum because he missed them field goals earlier.
Yeah. Because if he'd have made those 2,
he missed 2, which was like
if he didn't miss those 2, if he'd have made split it 50 on that, made one of those, it might have been a different ball game. Or if he nailed both of them, different ball game.
This last game, he kicked it into the post.
It's time to let him go.
I don't think he should have a job. He should get fired before the season's over.
Right. I thought he should have got rid of him after that game.
Yeah.
I wouldn't keep doing like that early.
Yeah. I was saying the same thing because that was key. It's one thing, New England was scoring touchdowns, and you want to match them touchdowns.
Right.
But if you don't really like to match a touchdown with a field goal, But to match a touchdown and get a field goal and miss, it's one thing if you don't even score, if you're just not in field goal range. But if you're in field goal range and you still miss twice,
right?
That's really
those were makeable field goals, both of them. Those were within a range of a decent or reasonable kicker.
Yeah.
And once again, like you said, you want to go down there and score a touchdown, but you can't leave any points on the table when you're playing New England.
Right.
Field goal
That's true.
or
Think about it. If we would have made those 2 field goals, I'm not saying we would have won, but it would have been a better chance.
Yep, you'd have been seeing a better opportunity.
And you're on the road. You're in the beginning of that hype, so you need to put some points on the board till everything gets even. So that was very bad for that job. I meant to tell you last week, we weren't able to do things last week. I was going to say, y'all need to get rid of that kicker. And surprising that they haven't gotten rid of him now if he missed another one. Because usually you don't let a kicker go that far. Because there's a bunch of kickers.
He must be related to somebody. Yes.
Well, I'm sure he's related to somebody.
Yeah. But, it's never what you know, it's who you know. That's why RG3 has been hanging around that league, hanging around that team for so long. But like he was saying earlier, for the Cowboys, with the NFC East being what it is and what it's been for the last couple of years, the Cowboys can hold out with the guys that they have. Like you said, they're playing team football. They keep, and especially the play callers, if they keep it, manageable for that number 3 and hand that ball off a bunch of times behind that big line, get a couple play actions downfield, you'll be okay. But, and like I said, the Eagles are who they are, the Giants are who they are, and the Redskins are who they are. You can limp if my man can make at least 50% of those games go his way, and by the time Romo comes back and Brian comes back, they can end up walking out of the NFC East champions. As far as my Bears, like my brother Terry, I am a realist as well. I just hope that we don't end up in the bottom of the division. That's a successful season for me. As long as we beat out Detroit or Minnesota, and we're not the butt of the league, I'm happy. And that's about all we can really expect from them right now, especially the way Green Bay is playing. And I'm gonna tell you something else. Once they got AP back from Minnesota, you're going to give Bridgewater a lot of room to breathe, a lot of time for him to grow, and they keep the game once again manageable and plays that he can execute. They're going to do very well. So I just really just.
Robert, Terry, the funny thing I'm going to say is about the Bears. You guys got one of the best running backs in the league, and he can't play more than 2 games without getting hurt to miss 3.
No,
Forte's been durable.
Yes, Forte is our only consistent offense. If they would treat Forte like they did Butler, we would be a lot better off.
Forte can't last the whole season. He can't last
last year.
When the season that he's been hurt, he made it all the way through last year.
Last year was the only year I've seen. And believe me, why I know about Forte is because he used to be on my fantasy team.
Forte.
Hey, if you want to talk about sleeper fantasy picks, you might want to look up Jeremy Langford. He plays the running back for the Bears out of Michigan State. They've been giving that cat the ball a lot more for Chicago, so that may be
because Matt's towards the end of the line.
His replacement soon.
Because Matt's gotten to the end of his road. He's been there for how many years? Shelf life for running backs is really small, especially if they're the workhorse of their organization, and he's been exactly that. Like I said, he's been the only consistent offense that we've had for the last God knows how many years.
Right.
And when the contract came up the first time, they should have did right by him and paid him that money that they gave to that bum-ass Cutler. Cutler didn't do nothing to deserve that money. Forte did everything to deserve that money. And with that being said, we've never, been known for our offense anyway. We've been known for our defense, and that's what's won our championships in the past. Let's be real. John McMahon wasn't Joe Montana, but we didn't need Joe Montana. We just needed somebody to manage the clock and make sure that we didn't turn over the ball. And when that defense got you that short field, take advantage. Same thing with Sexy Rexy. Yeah, Kyle Orton playing instead of Sexy Rexy. We didn't won that day going Super Bowl. because once again, we didn't need Joe Montana. We didn't need John Elway. We needed somebody to take care of that ball and make sure to score on those short yardage opportunities that defense was putting out there.
I agree.
So, same thing for this year. We don't need, we got all these receivers we had last year when Brandon Marshall left. That hurt, but you still got Alshon Jeffries whenever he gets himself healthy.
When White gets back.
Yep. You got Bennett and like I said, Forte, and you got this other running back and some other young guys that are doing pretty good. But you got to have somebody to sling that rock to him. You don't have that, and that won't get hurt or cry when he gets hit one or too many times and complain to the offense and try to get coaches fired. That makes a big difference. Otherwise, you cannot conduct yourself and have an effective offense.
Yeah, this is great, guys. So we're gonna wrap it up. So we're going to do last words from you guys, but also, maybe tell the people that are going to watch or watching what you want to look at this weekend. What are the picks this weekend for games? It doesn't have to be football. It could be anything. What are some good sport picks for this weekend to watch? We'll start with you, Mark. What are you watching this weekend?
Well, it's a thing with Saturday. My son plays fall basketball league, so I'll be watching him. Saturday, so college, I'll probably catch a late college game maybe, but it'll more likely be. I won't lie to you. I obviously I didn't see very much of the. I saw the last half of the quarter of the Philadelphia game. I had to do some stuff work-wise. I had my daughter with me. I am going to watch the Falcons game. I got to see what they look like against the Falcons. Mm-hmm. And so that'll be the pick here. I think that's the curiosity of what they'll look like overall is what I'm thinking about. But I would say as far as games go, I would say San Francisco, Arizona, although I think Arizona's going to beat them. San Francisco, Arizona. And to be honest with you, I want to see how Indianapolis responds to the way things have gone for them. And they got Tennessee as winnable. It'll be interesting to see there. And I would say even though it's a Thursday night game, it's the only one you'll watch. And that's a whole hummer to a lot of people. But Terry, again, you in D.C., you know how the NFCs rivals each other.
Right.
I hate both the Skins and the Giants, but I'm gonna watch just to see. I'm hoping they both lose. I'm hoping they both lose.
Yeah, they could tie.
They can tie. That's true.
I don't want to tie. Tie's a half a win. I want them to both lose.
That's impossible.
All right.
Somehow I want to in the L or just one in the L column. That's it.
All right, Robert. Must-sees for this end of the week and weekend. Anything you watching special?
I want to try to see if the Yankees can try to win their next series. I just checked; they lost their game against the Blue Jays. So I'm just pulling for them. I want it to be a Subway Series. I'd like to see the Mets and the Yankees play against each other. That would make me just super extremely happy. But as far as immediate history or immediate future, I'm like Mark here. I want to see what happens between the Redskins and the Giants. I want to see how bad Eli can actually be, or if he's going to right the ship and fix himself and start managing his clock. And I want to see if Kirk Cousins, with the help of my man Morris, if he can actually pull it out and maybe do something, or him fall on his face so I can go back to work and tell all the Redskin fans how much they suck. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Hey, but Rob, we're going to the thing too, man. Damn, the Yankees lost to the Blue Jays today, 4-0.
Yeah, 4-0. Yep. And we pulled one out last night, so I think we're 2.5 back. Got what? 12.
3.5 back.
So it's gonna be. We're gonna try to probably push for that wild card and maybe make it through that way, but that wild card playoff.
And they got action in the wild card. Now, I'll say to you this much, going to the Skins and Giants, it's going to be interesting to see, when you said the way you said it, it's going to be interesting because Kansas defense has not been bad,
No.
and the Giants defense has. So you turn around and hand the ball to Alfred Morris, he can run all over.
They can tear them up, and that's the whole thing. Like you said, they're just such a dumpster fire right now. The Giants, the whole organization. Everybody wants to jump on Eli, but it isn't just Eli. There's a couple of key factors on both sides of the ball, and actually all three phases. There's been some stuff that's gone suspect on their special teams as well as the offense and defense. So the Redskins have a good chance.
They just don't have a team, and look, your best defensive pass rusher blew his fucking finger off.
Playing with a damn firework. I'm sorry. I make that much money.
So stupid. Oh my God, that is so. Stupid.
So
unbelievable.
How do you do something like that, and that's your livelihood? I mean,
right?
That's just stupid.
Right. You can pay somebody X amount of thousands of dollars to get you a crazy firework display. You ain't gotta do nothing but sip on your beer and watch the fireworks.
Right. On the yacht, on the ocean, looking. You know what I mean? I mean, why do you hold it?
Go to Tito's and have somebody do it for you.
I have fun with the fireworks. I used to throw them since I was a kid. I ain't mad about that. It's how the hell you let that shit blow up in your hand, man? Throw that shit. What the hell are you doing?
No, they got duds. You know what I mean? They have duds that explode when they're not supposed to.
Yeah, that's why you call it.
Is that what happened to him?
That's probably what happened.
I'm sure. I mean, you can see when it's burning down to, you know what I mean? Unless somebody called him, he looked away and then bam.
I got a question.
Yeah, I mean that happened to me when I was a kid. I had the little itty firecracker, and I tried to light real fast with just a little bit of fuse. That son bitch went pow right in my hand, and it didn't even hurt it. I mean, the initial blast hurt, and I remember going thinking it was gonna be really bad, and it was nothing. I probably
you must have had an M80 or something.
Yeah, an M80 or a Blockbuster, because for you to lose fingers, thumbs, he might have had a step grenade.
Yeah, it could have been a grenade. Eric, what was your question, sir?
Is playing for the Giants that bad? Because I mean, you have somebody that shot that foot off, or shot himself in the leg.
Talking about old Plaxico
Burrows, and then you got somebody that blow their fingers off. Is it that bad that you don't want to play for the Giants? That you rather hurt yourself? I ask Giants fans that all the time, and no one can seem to answer my question. But for games that I'm going to watch. I have to watch. That Carolina-New Orleans game is actually going to be pretty good, because if Carolina go up 3-0, they're probably going to take that division.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch. There's not too many good college football games. I'm gonna watch my Bears, of course, to see if we're gonna actually pull it out in Seattle, and then I'm gonna watch that. I want to see if Jacksonville is gonna take New England to the limit. They always play New England tough.
Yeah.
It's a divisional game, so we'll see. Oh, and R.I.P. Yogi Bear.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Any quick thoughts on Yogi Bear? You go.
I just wanted to RIP and show respect to him, since we're a sports show. I just want at least RIP to him.
Yeah, Mark.
Well, I grew up a Yankees fan. I pull for the Nationals because it's the home team. I mean, the only home team in DC I don't pull for is the Skins. But I never saw Yogi Berra play before my time, but knew about him and heard of him. And, just, hey, 90 years old, what a blessing.
Yeah, really. Yeah. Robert?
Like you said, 90 years, what a blessing. Greatest catcher ever to play. Like I said, I'm a Yankees fan, #1 all the way, and never once again got to see the man actually play. But the tapes and everything that I've seen and videos I've ever seen, and just hearing my father and my great grandfather before he passed talking about him and all the other great Yankees, he was the one. He was the one. So lost, but at the same time celebrate the man's life and his accomplishment. And I'm gonna miss you, Yogi. You're back up there with all your other good greats, and it's awesome.
All right. Well, it's been a great show. I thank my co-host and Mark, Robert, and over there he's jamming. Terry's jamming right now.
Remember this, Terry? Remember the dance, Terry?
Oh yeah, that's what I'm doing.
You gotta do, yeah, you gotta pull it
But is that
down.
some kind of Chicago thing?
Oh, that's New York. Yeah.
Chicago thing going on?
New York.
One last thing. There's nothing finer than being from Carolina.
Oh, man.
Mark, read that. Washington, D.C. all the way, huh, Mark?
DC all the way, except for them damn pussy skins.
Whoa!
Well, I'm an L.A. girl. You know what I'm saying? I'm Steelers down. You see this. But when a team comes to LA, except the Raiders, if it's only the Raiders, I want to have an LA team. But if the Rams come, if the Chargers come, I may have an LA team. I may be one of those two-teamers. Because if there was an LA team, it would be LA all the way, except for the Clippers. Okay? So I want to thank you guys. I want to thank all my co-hosts again. Thank the audience for watching, and we want to invite you in. So next time, maybe come and join us. Go ahead with your peace sign, Mark. Peace, 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 brother. Peace out, Robert.
Yes, indeed.
Peace out, Terry.
Peace up, 8-town down, prime time, baby.
Get out of here, dirty bird.
Hey,
Next week, yeah, go ahead, Mark.
hey, guy, I was gonna say this real quick. Is that I just saw some of the NBA thing. They had they're doing their top 400 players in the league. They're going from 400 to number one. ESPN their rank. I just want you to know that the number one, the 400 ranked player in the NBA is Lucas Nogueira from the Toronto Raptors. Just wanted you to know that. Thank you.
Well, he got drafted by the Atlanta Hawks, and that's why we got rid of him.
He's 100 and 399 is Johnny O'Brien.
Wait, tell us okay, we're gonna play the music while you tell us the top 10.
Top 10 players in the league?
Yeah.
I can give you.
Wait, I can't hear you.
I'll go from the top at least. Geez, hold up.
Hasta la voce, por favore.
I know, we can't hear you, Mark.
Are you hating me?
Hasta volume, por favore.
No. Kevin.
Something's going on with your audio right now, so we'll save that for next week. So next week, let's talk about the top players. Okay?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
I said number one is LeBron James. Number two is Kevin Durant. Number three is, to me, James Harden. Number four, I would put
Steph Curry with the shot, boy.
I told you.
Carmelo Anthony. Number five.
These are his picks, though.
No, he said these
He hasn't even said Steph Curry yet. He said six players and didn't say Steph Curry yet.
Right. These not personal picks. These are ranked.
No. Those have to be his personal picks.
Those are his personal picks.
They haven't gotten to number one in ESPN right now. They've gone to the first 100 from 300 to 400. If that's what you were asking me.
Yeah. A big Steph Curry.
Never mind.
Yeah, I thought you.
Those were his top picks, Terry. Those were his top picks.
Yeah, I knew it.
I mean, easily, and I know I heard earlier everybody said everybody's trying to put Steph Curry, but I mean, Kevin Durant's hurt. He's hurt. But I would say this much: if you're going to pick a team, pick players. LeBron James your best player. Kevin Durant's your number two player. Number three, I kind of flirt through it a little bit, but I'll go with James Harden. Number four is Carmelo Anthony. Number five, I will put
What? Carmelo shit. Oh my God. I'm sorry. Carmelo shit.
Hey, I'm going now.
Can't play with nobody.
Carmelo Anthony?
Melo was hot garbage, man.
Melo Anthony
One
is
of the worst.
Okay, well, we're gonna have to pick this conversation up definitely next week. We're gonna pick this conversation.
number
Hey,
5.
Mark got a 3-game ban. He can't come on the show for 3 shows.
Mark, I'm about to watch Empire, so we're gonna come
Yeah.
back.
All right, see y'all later.
Okay.
Hey, it was good too, Shelly. Empire was good too.
Oh, good. Thank you. Yeah, I'm about to watch it. So yeah, don't spoil it. But Mark, we're definitely gonna come back with this next week with your picks and everybody else's top 10 picks, okay? Because you didn't get Steph Curry in the top 6. Something's wrong. Something's wrong with that.
Steph Curry with the shot, boy.
6, okay.
I said Steph Curry number 5.
Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna go. Thank you, everybody. We've had fun.
I holla.
Holla, guys.
All right.
All right. I'll talk to you guys this week. All right. Bye-bye.
Have a good check.